In this last section of Chapter 4, now that we have discussed enzymes, we've discussed metabolism, we've discussed cellular respiration, and we understand a little bit more about how that works, we come back to this question of weight, basically. So how do you determine whether your body weight is a healthy one? So you think about these people that went on The Biggest Loser, or people that wanted to go on The Biggest Loser, they consider themselves to be overweight, or then you think about other people that consider themselves to be underweight. The question is, what weight is actually a healthy one for you, realizing that we're all built a little bit different. We have this thing called body mass index, or BMI. And so what a BMI does is it uses your height, it uses your weight, and it gives you kind of an estimate to weight-related risk of illness as well as weight-related risk of death. And so really quickly, this would be an example, and this is in your book on page 81, but if you look really quickly, consider your height, and then consider your weight. And then once you have where those two meet, if you look down at the bottom, there's a range here of numbers. And so based on this range, you use your height and you use your weight to determine where you fall in the body mass index. Now, if you fall less than 18.5, we would consider that to be underweight. If you fall between 18.5 and 24.9, we consider that to be a normal weight. 25 to 29 would be considered overweight. 30 to 34.9 would be considered moderately obese. Or then greater than 35 we consider to be severe obese. Now, from that, why are those things important? Well, underweight, we know that's a risk of anorexia, and your book, if you want to read a little more detail into it, it talks about the risks that are associated with anorexia, the long-term health consequences of starving your muscles, starving your cells, heart muscle to be exact. It talks about being overweight and what's associated with it as far as mortality is concerned. And then obesity, the health consequences associated with it, increased risk of heart disease, of stroke, of diabetes. And then it briefly discusses ways to prevent obesity, that it really boils down to not a yo-yo diet. A lot of people, especially like people that you think about on The Biggest Losers, they do this lose lots and lots of weight, and then they binge by not exercising and eating, and so you have this constant yo-yo of losing weight and gaining weight and losing weight and gaining weight, and the consequences that can come from that. When it really boils down to eating healthy food, having a healthy amount of exercise, and understanding that there is part of your weight that's not under your control, that part of your weight is controlled by your genetics. And so keeping all this in mind might be something that you're interested in looking into as to whether or not your body weight is considered to be a healthy one.